Listen, Spurs made their way into this Europa Conference League. A lot of people mocking it and being dismissive of it. The idea of the Europa Conference League was to allow those smaller clubs who might not make Europa League, might not make Champions League, to get a taste of European football and then develop a bit more. And over the course of time, they might be able to improve. It's to improve standards, to get clubs and teams, maybe smaller ones, used to European football, hosting
Tottenham?
it. Well, Tottenham weren't meant to. It was meant to be for a West Ham. Those who aren't used to European football. Spurs have had a big taste of it.
I thought it was originally, Aid, for a team that won the Carabao Cup. Then it got changed to the FA Cup, but both teams have already qualified for Europe.
Yeah.
So it's now gone to the team in 7th place in the Premier League. So third time lucky for Tottenham.
Well, this is how it will affect some of the bigger leagues. Roma are in it from Italy. So some of the big clubs will be in it. So first of all, it's a chance for silverware. But I go back to when all the fans, en masse, as one, were having a right go at club owners for trying to start an elitist European Super League, and rightly so as well. And they were very successful with their protests, swiftly successful with the protests. And here they are now scoffing and mocking and laughing at a tournament for some of the smaller clubs. So how hypocritical do you want to be? I was listening to Darren Bent's Boot Room last night, driving home from Liverpool, and they were saying, they were calling it the Vauxhall Conference Europa League. And I thought, what on earth are you talking about? What on earth gives you the right to speak so dismissively of a tournament that actually might well bring... Let's just analyse this for a second. My immediate thought on this Europa Conference League, when I saw some of the teams that are qualified for it today, I thought this is a chance to reconnect with the soul of football, the joy of football. Now, boy, do Spurs fans need that right now. Everybody's laughing at Spurs for being in this Europa Conference League. What Spurs fans are going to get is a European tour like no other, and they should take full advantage of it because they get to go to places like Sligo, potentially Helsinki, Bala in Wales, which is on the edge of the Snowdonia National Park, Union Berlin, Villarreal, Roma, Vitesse Arnhem. That's where the story Feyenoord's on my list as well. The story of the film A Bridge Too Far is Arnhem. I've been there. In fact, I've been to all these places I'm mentioning. Hibs in Edinburgh, Feyenoord in Rotterdam, Basel in Switzerland.
I don't think it'd be too keen on the Hibs.
Pete, go to Sochi in Russia. It's like a Mediterranean holiday. It's fantastic.
You love that. It's one of your top 5 places.
Well,
Sochi.
they're in it as well. So what's wrong with if Spurs fans go on this European tour and go to places they never dreamed they would go to? What on earth is wrong with that? They're watching their team.
Listen, Ed, I think for the fans, this is... Yeah, they'll be disappointed they're not in the main one. Of course, the Champions League. Then they'll be disappointed they're not in the Europa League. And now they've got a sniff for European football. For the fans, I think it is special. Yeah, you're probably right. They'll be able to go to some areas, although it's not going to be cheap to travel and follow the football club to these games. But I think for Tottenham, are they in a position... They're not going to be able to attract players because they're playing in the Europa Conference League. So it's not going to help them attract players. And then if they do attract players, they'll end up with a manager who's that desperate to try and get back into the Champions League, but he'll be resting his players from that, without a doubt, because they haven't got a big enough squad, and there could be a few big changes at that football club this year. So I don't think they've got a big enough squad to put out their best team to play in the Europa Conference League.
I'm not sure you've listened to a word I've just said.
I have, and that's not being elitist. It's not been that at all. I'm just saying it's not a competition where Tottenham are in a position where they're going to attract players. I tell you what, come and play for us. We'll pay you 120 grand a week to play in the Europa Conference League. It ain't happening. They'd rather go to West Ham.
Okay, so, I'm not sure what this has got to do with anything. They're in it. That's the way it is, because they were so bad this season, they could only finish in 7th place.
And they won't take it serious. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
But that doesn't affect what I was saying at all. If Spurs want to go on and win the thing, then they should put out their best team. If they don't want to win it and they want to try and get the top 4, then fine. But this is about the soul of football, which was why they were protesting about the European Super League. So all those who were negative about the European Super League, for very good reason, why are you dismissing a competition that would allow the fans to reconnect with what football's all about, really? It's about enjoyment. Go into a game and enjoying it. Go into an away game and enjoy it. Why are you shaking your head at that?
Because football fans would rather watch Real Madrid versus Tottenham or Inter Milan versus Tottenham rather than laugh.
That's the Super League. You're now making the case for the Super League. Well, it is Spurs were in that Big Six.
It's called Champions League, that.
Flipping
It's called champion. It's called the Champions League. You're getting excited about Tottenham possibly playing Linfield.
I would get excited about
and you
that,
mentioned as one of your places, like Tottenham fans get to go to Hibs. Hey, yippee! Hey, they get to go to Aberdeen as well. Let's put that on there as well.
What's wrong with that? Why are you being elitist about
I'm not being elitist
now?
Have
you been to Edinburgh? It's beautiful.
I go all the time, mate, for golf.
So why are you having a go at it then?
I love going for golf, not to watch football.
Sunshine on Leith at Easter Road Hibs. Have you heard that?
I've been to Hibs.
Sensational.
Actually, went to Hibs to watch Hibs versus Hearts.
So why are you knocking it?
Many years ago. But what I'm trying to say to you is this is a competition where it will be a distraction for where Tottenham are at. As I said, we don't know what's going to happen with a few of their players. Whether it be Kane, whether it be Bale, whether it be Ali, whether it be Son, whether it be a few other players. It's a total rebuild. Are they going to be in a position to lose players, buy players, and then risk them playing in this competition when they've got to get back into the elite?
Why have they got to?
Because they consider themselves one of the elite clubs in the Premier League.
Here's the thing, right? Life is short. What Spurs fans, here's my advice for Spurs fans, okay? And it's positive stuff. I'm not knocking you. Chill the heck out. Just enjoy the ride. If you stress yourself about who can we attract, if you stress yourself about, we've got to get back in the top 4, just forget it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You're in a Europa Conference League. This is the first one. You're making a bit of history. You might even be the first team to win it. And who knows how good it could be? Who remembers the European Cup Winners' Cup? It's one of my favourite ever competitions. It wouldn't work now because the Cup winners, Man City or whoever, they're always in another competition. So the Cup Winners' Cup is a different thing. Just hold on a second, right? So you have to have something different. So what is wrong with just being on that Spurs bus and enjoying the ride? Stop stressing about stuff. I mean, Spurs just aren't that club,
I'm not having it. He calls the Europa League the Losers' Cup, right?
It is.
So what is this cup called? The Losers' Cup?
Absolutely.
You're telling them
enjoy the
to
ride.
Embrace it and enjoy it. I think Tottenham fans, right? Yes, for a few of them, it'll be a great trip and they'll get to see some beautiful places.
And meet
Might
some
not see
people.
some beautiful football. They'll see some beautiful places and they'll get to travel and see their team. As long as we travel is fine by then. But when it comes down to it for Tottenham, they've got to win a cup competition on these shores. They've got to win the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup or get and win the Premier League. That's their target. And it doesn't help, like I said last week when they said they're 5 years behind Manchester City, but somehow they've got to get back in there.
Well, all right, but you keep saying they've got to.
They have.
And if they don't, what happens? They have no enjoyment
they'll
whatsoever.
They'll keep sacking their manager till they get back in there.
Yeah, but you're talking about stuff that's beyond the fans' control. What they should do is control the controllables. Let me tell you, right? Pre-season game, as a posh fan, I went to...
This will be like pre-season.
This is actually, people, this is absolutely true. Next time you speak to my missus, this is absolutely true. We broke off our honeymoon in the Algarve to go to Belfast to watch a pre-season game, Cliftonville against Peterborough. Now, Cliftonville's the kind of place where you would go in the Europa Conference League, okay? We had the time of our lives. We had 24 hours in Belfast, had an absolute ball. She sent me out for some aspirin the next morning because we had such a good time at the game and then in the middle of Belfast afterwards. And this is what Spurs fans are going to enjoy at places they never dreamed they'd be going to. What's wrong with that? You can go there
with the mates,
What you could do...
You can book a flight to wherever you want with your mates.
Yeah, but you won't. And you've got the football to build it around. That's what going away with your team's about.
There's loads of Man City fans got flights booked to Istanbul at some point this year because they've booked them and they've got to use them.
I think it was more Chelsea fans. But what I'll say is, I think you can either stay at home and keep shaking your head about how... Oh, Daniel Levy's done this, or Lewis isn't spending any money. Oh, when are we going to win the league? When are we going to get back in the top 4? You can do all that if you want, or you can go and enjoy yourselves.
At the Losers Cup. I can't wait.
Oh, it's so disrespectful. You really wanted that Super League, didn't you? 08717 22 3344.